Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe back, and I'm going to do kind of like a little chatty video. I haven't done one of these in a while. I usually call them talking about whatever. So I don't know what number I'm on because I haven't done one in months. I just haven't had anything really. I'm very boring. Anyway, I read and write and go to work and deal with a lot of my family. Anyway, so I just thought I would get on here just because I kind of need to get a few things out of what I plan to do, at least in the coming few months, at least to the end of the year and maybe into next year. Maybe some kind of goal kind of stuff I want to do. Not really channel related, it's more of my reading and my spending habits. So there's just really two things I'm going to put out. I'll put the first one out about the reading stuff is that December is usually a month I usually do the same thing. I think a lot of people do this, is we look at all the books that we have still left on our currently reading or stuff that we've started this year and have not finished, and I try to complete things that I've put off or set aside, but I still want to get to. So I have at least, I think 3 or 4 books, I think 4 books right now that I've put aside that for various reasons and just have not got back to them, or I'm giving it one more shot. And I think I'm going to probably do that for my December TBR. So it's probably not going to be anything really new. I think I really have 4 books that I'm really going to focus on to try to finish out so that I have a clean slate going into the new year. I mean, I'll probably start something else if I have time, but again, as I said, I have some really big books that I have not completed that I'd really like to get done. So that's kind of it. So I don't know. I mean, do you guys do that? Do you, kind of look at your currently reading list and decide, okay, I have too many books here. So like, I need to get it down. So usually I start panicking when I have 10 books on my currently reading. Now, I don't currently read 10 books. I put a book on and then I kind of walk away from it, or I don't get back to it. And once it gets up to a certain time, it's been on there a while, I want to either move it back to want to read, or it goes back on my shelf, or I get rid of it, or, I give it one more shot. And if it doesn't work out, then I get rid of it. So I've kind of got to that point. I'm not at 10 right now. As I said, I have 4 that have been sitting on my currently reading for a little while. Well, 2 of them have been on for half the year, and then one of them was from September, and then one from October. So it's kind of a clearing out of my currently reading, and I'd like to do that in December. So I'm hoping I get to do that. It'll all depend on how the end of November goes, of course. With NaNoWriMo going on right now, my brain is kind of, doing the writing stuff, but I'm also reading some really great nonfiction. So I have all these books, and I bought, not recently, I mean, I bought like last month, but I meant like I've bought over the month, the last year, all these really cool nonfiction books, and I'm not going to get to all of them because, again, I broke my rule with the library, and I got a whole bunch of books from the library this month. So anyway, that's a whole nother thing. I mean, I could talk about that too, because again, I've mentioned that I have libraries, like I go and get all this stuff from the library and I just don't have time, which is why I'm trying to get away from that and only ask for a couple at a time. And right now I have 10 books from the library, and I think I have like 2 coming. Anyway, here nor there. So the point is that look to December as for me being kind of a cleaning out books that I've started and just haven't completed. I don't know. I just was wondering if other people do that. I don't read like seasonally. Like I don't read Christmas books, or I don't read I don't read books that are to the seasons. That's never been something that drives my reading at all. I mean, it's cool sometimes when it works out and it kind of matches the season, but I don't usually deal with that, so that's not my problem. Again, as I said, usually December is my trying to clean out finish out books that I have not completed in the year. So I was just curious if anybody else did that. And I think I've heard some other booktubers also mention that they do that. So as I said, it's just something I usually do, and this year for sure I have a plan for these 4 books to read them. And of course they're all huge. Anyway, so those will probably be the only ones on my TBR. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to December. So the other thing I want to bring up is pretty much what kind of I've been thinking about since I calculated how much money I spent in October on books. Now, admittedly, buying books is one of my greatest pleasures. It's one of the things that I like to do. I love collecting books. Clearly, I have library space. Not much anymore, actually. I've really filled up my bookshelves. I have a whole stack to go to used bookstores or to my library for donate. I just haven't taken them out. But I'm running out of space because I've collected so many books. And last month, again, was very excessive. I calculated I had gotten 53 books in a month. Now, I still spent a lot of money too. I mean, not like... It matters on your definition of a lot of money. It was a lot more money than I should be spending per month on books. But I also got a lot of book sales, library book sales. So, and a lot of it was used. And then there's a lot of stuff I got on sale. And then I had a couple gift cards that actually I didn't spend money. So it would have been even more if I hadn't had the money, the gift card. So so again, it comes down to, it's not really that I don't have the money for what I'm spending on books. I mean, it still shocked me how much I spent, because I spent a lot. Like I calculated for the year, and I about had, a panic attack. So I couldn't believe how much I'd spent this year alone. And it's so scary because I am tracking it this year a lot more carefully than I ever have. And I do tend to buy, it kind of fluctuates. There'll be times where I buy a lot, and then I'll buy just one or two here and there, but it adds up if I do that every few weeks. And that's kind of what happened in October. There was a lot of things going on, as well as the library book sales that I knew about, that I knew I was going to buy books. And I did try to stop myself. Well, okay, I tried to stop myself, but I couldn't talk myself into it. I just let myself buy stuff, and I had, I used the coupon issue where I bought some books and the coupon didn't work, so I tried it again and bought more. Anyway, so here and there. Again, as I said, October's done. I've spent all that money, and this whole year, a lot. So I think I've decided I'm going to go forward is I'm going to try, and again, November's not really a test month because it's not a very good way for me to look at it, because I'm writing so much and my time is different because I'm focusing on my writing more than books and being able to watch BookTube and stuff. So, and I'm looking for books. So, but I want to try to where I can only buy, this is going to be extreme for me because it's not how this works, at least in the last, at least the last year, this has not worked. But I'm going to try to where I'm allowed to buy my pre-orders. Like there are certain authors, they're just pre-orders. And there are a couple books that I just want, and that's it. I don't excessively pre-order. I mean, there's usually one or two a month there's a pre-order. Now there's a whole rash of them in January and February this year for some reason. I don't know why everybody has a book coming out around that time. But I have a little bit more coming out on those months for pre-order already. But most of the time I was only like one or two titles a month. So I'm not going to stop myself from pre-ordering the books that I know I want, and I know that I'm going to read pretty quickly after I get them. So I'm not worried about that. My pre-order, I'm not out of control on that. That's something I've been doing for years since we've been able to pre-order online. So, but my thing I'm going to change is how many books I buy weekly. So I've decided to focus on what I do buy. I'm still going to write down my pre-orders and, make sure I'm not excessively over abusing this. But I want to try to where once a week I get to pick one book. Now, to some people that still might be a lot, and I get that. But as I said, I've trained myself that that's where some of my money goes every month, has always gone to books. That's just how my entertainment, that's where my money goes. I would rather have books than a lot of things. And, but I want to cut back on, because I have so many books to read. I mean, this last year alone, the books that I've gotten in, I'm all excited to read, like all of these books. I just don't have the time. And I've already, I've overdone it. Like, like just alone the books I bought last month would last, that's like 5 months of reading to 6 maybe. It matters on how bad, how much I read. So, I mean, and then you take into consideration how many books I already have. So again, this is, I'm trying to think that this is the best way I can think of to maybe cut myself back, to be a little bit, to not just buy on a whim. And again, I am still writing down what other people, like things I do see on BookTube or on the internet, and those books are still on a list that I want to get. Like, I still put them on my wish list on Amazon or Book Depository to kind of see where the prices are. But I'm trying not to troll the prices every day anymore. I know that that's how you get the deals, because I know, because I've been looking. But I think I've gone to where I'm allowed to buy, especially if I buy new or online, I can buy one book a week. Now, if I happen to go to Powell's, I'm going to relax my thing and I can buy 2 if they're used. So, or another used bookstore. I want to be at where I'm only bringing in 1 or 2 books a week. And then again, I'll have a pre-order here and there. So it shouldn't be excessive. So, that's kind of where I'm looking at. I'm hoping that this is going to work. Now again, November is not really the month to start this. I mean, I'm starting it this month because I'm trying to ease into it, because again, November, my mind is on writing a lot of the times, and I'm not thinking about buying books as much, because I know I'm not reading as much fiction right now. Right now, all I want to do is buy all the nonfiction, because I'm reading a lot of nonfiction. But I don't buy as much nonfiction as I do fiction. So, sorry. So I'm not quite so concerned about how much I'm buying in November. But going into December, I usually buy a lot in December. I don't know why. I just always do. And I don't know if that's because there's a lot more sales or stuff because of all the Christmas stuff or holiday stuff or whatever. But and then January, I always have gift cards or money. So I do spend a lot in January, typically. This last year I messed up and I spent my own money and kept the gift cards longer, but I should have been spending the gift cards on the books that I bought. Anyway, so it didn't work out. That's why January was such a high month, of how much I spent on money, because I didn't use the gift cards I had. I technically still have 1 gift card to Barnes & Noble, so I might be using that in the next week, just if I feel like I need to go buy books. But I'm letting myself buy 1 book either on Sunday or Monday. I figure Sunday's the day I usually make a lot of book purchases, because I'm sitting around usually by the afternoon, evening, that's when you're winding down before you have to go to work on Monday. And I think I spend a lot of time thinking about buying stuff on Sunday night online. So I think I'm like, this last week, I just let myself buy 1 book. Now, all the books that I've gotten so far this month were from orders I made in October, and then I had 1 pre-order. So I've already collected I've already collected quite a few books, but going forward, I shouldn't be getting much more. I have 2 pre-orders for later this month that are also showing up. And then, as I said, if I buy 1 book a week, anyway, it's still a lot of books. And so I cannot say no books at all. Like, I can't go on a total book ban. I don't know if you guys have ever done that. I know a lot of people do it and they're very successful, and I applaud you. But I react the opposite way. I will be able to book ban myself for a week or 2, and then I go ballistic. I either go, use book shopping and just buy a whole ton of books, or I go online and just buy a whole bunch. And it just matters on what's going on. But the couple times that I've tried to book ban myself, complete disaster, and cost me way more money than it would have if I just not done that. So I'm hoping that this is gonna work. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Maybe I rambled too much about this, but to me it's not that it's a financial, I need to stop because it's a financial burden. I'm not overburdening my paycheck or or savings or whatever. I really should be saving that money for stuff I want to do next year. So that would be great if I could cut back a little bit to save some of that money for that, because I have not been saving maybe as much as I'd like for my couple trips I have next year that I want to take. So, I mean, that is that, but this is not for a financial reason. It's just mostly because I have so many books I want to read right now, and they're all here, and I just don't have the time to read them all, but I keep gathering more and more, and so I just feel like I don't need to do that. I still can make my list. I can still pick out a few books here and there. I can still get ones that I'm really excited about and maybe read them quicker than I am right now. Because usually when a book comes into my house, it takes me, you know, 5 or 6 months sometimes to get to it, sometimes a year or two, because I have such a backlog of stuff I want to read. And of course I'm bringing in stuff still from the library, which I'm trying not to do that, but right now, Nonfiction November, I kind of broke that because there's just so much nonfiction out there I want to try. Maybe don't want to buy, but I want to try, and it's just, anyway, so that's kind of my thoughts on that. I don't know if you guys have any other tips. I mean, I'm thinking if I at least still give myself that book a week kind of thing, I will still be okay. I mean, I'll definitely be okay book-wise. I have so much to read. And again, as I said, next year, I'm going to really try to find a way. I still haven't come up with how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try to find a way to focus on what I own and try to read more of that. And I'm just not sure how I'm going to do that yet. Because I know December is going to be weird because I'm finishing up things. And then again, November is weird because it's Nonfiction November and it's NaNoWriMo. So my mind's all in other places. But come December, I'll probably start thinking about the whole next year goals kind of thing. And I know I'm going to have to do something to try to get, there are so many series I'm partway through. There's so many trilogies I haven't finished. There's so many standalone books that I have, and a lot of literary fiction I've bought in the last year that, because I didn't read it for so long, I'm still having trouble picking it up, even though I've bought a lot of it. So I want to get to that too. And of course, I have all these beautiful classics that I want to read that I've never read and I'm excited to try. And I just haven't got to it. So anyway, so this has been a little long of a video. I hope you guys are okay with that. As I said, I haven't done one of these talky kind of videos in a while. You'll have to let me know if you want more of them. I don't know. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. See ya.